What's up, everyone? Another episode of the Horns Down Podcast with your host, Kchris Griffin. Kchris with a K on Twitter, all that, those different things and whatnot. Tonight, we're going to talk about Bedlam. Obviously, we're going to do a little bit of Texas and K-State because we got a little, special guests coming on to the show. Also, we're going to look around and see what teams outside of OU and Texas have a shot to make it to Arlington for the Big 12 championship. And lastly, we'll talk about the college football playoffs rankings. So, with that being said, see you after the intro.
You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts, but there's only one where the horns are always down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Horns Down Podcast.
So, without further ado, I got to bring my special guest on, my guy, Nick Battle from at Nino's Corner. Nick, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at, man. Look, he's a Texas guy. This is slowly but surely becoming like one of my brothers from another mother for sure.
I still hate that damn intro.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's classic, man. It's classic. Go ahead, tell everybody where they can find you at, man.
Hey, man, go to YouTube. It's going to be Nino's Corner Sports, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere else, man. It's just Nino's Corner. So all Texas content. I also do some high school stuff too with, just some guys from the 2025 and the 2026 class as well. So go there and check it out.
What's up, Coach? What's up? But yeah, hey, look, OU fans, I'm not going to tell y'all not to go check out Nick's content. It makes sense. I would say 75% of the stuff that he say, it 90, makes sense.
90.
But hey, just like you like and subscribe and follow all the stuff that we do over here at the Horns Down Podcast, go shout out. Go just give him a like. Go see what he's talking about, man. I promise you it's worth it. He's made some videos that have helped you understand why he's one of the few Texas fans that has some type of common sense. Sometimes Steven has it too, but this guy too. So with that being said, I'm sure all the Texas people that come on here in my comments who are like, oh yeah, it's a Horns downside and this and that, they're gonna be like, oh my god, he got Nick. But anyways, Nick is pretty much he's fam of the show. You call him a special guest, call him a co-host, whatever you want to call him. He's been on here plenty of times. So with that being said, let's just get right to it, Nick. Look,
yes, sir.
Bedlam preview. All right. Check this out, y'all. Look. Last Saturday is last Saturday. Okay. It's a horrible loss. Only way to spin it simply because of what we've already talked about. Let's not rehash that. Let's look forward. Look, we're going into the last Bedlam game for the foreseeable future. Okay. Fact of the matter is that you're not that look. UCF, Kansas, again, they're in the rearview mirror for multiple reasons, but one reason specifically. You're not going to see an offense like that for the rest of the year, to be honest with you. Nobody's going to be running all that gimmick stuff and all the rest of that. When you look at OSU's offense, it is what it is. They are going to have some of the same concept that Iowa State and Kansas ran against you with trying to do a lot of the outside run game, trying to get matchups for Ollie Gordon. That's who they are basically, that's who's carrying their team right now. Bowman. We all know that Bowman is a good passer. He can rip you apart if you allow him. Problem is that we know that he's injury prone as well. So biggest thing for me is just going into this game and just understanding that we're shifting to yet again another scheme, another offensive paradigm, as far as just saying, hey, they're going back to the quick game. They know that their offensive line cannot handle our defensive line, so they're going to be trying to get the ball out quickly to try to counter that speed, the team speed of OU. What OU has to do is just basically just nut up and go out there and do what they need to do and fill the gaps. Big thing right now, I know a lot of people are trying to figure out. I haven't heard anything about it, but is Danny Stutzman going to play? That's a big question mark right there. But I think, again, what we doing on all our shows now, when we say the words competitive depth, Nick, we all take a drink. So at that depth,
Well, nice.
Kip Lewis, yeah. Hey, Kip Lewis, but Kannick, Kobe McKenzie, you got guys back there that you feel comfortable with. So I'm eager to see it. But hey, look, in my earnest opinion, I think we match up very well against them, obviously. The thing about it is that if you think about it, the last time that they won in this series was obviously 2 years ago when Caleb was there, right? Or 3 years ago, I guess you can say now. And the fact of the matter is, you can say what you want to say about Lincoln having 1 foot out the door. You can say something about the refs. Fact of the matter is, I think where the game was won was the fact that Spencer Sanders made plays with his legs. And so that's something that I don't see Bowman doing. But I'll stop talking for now, and I'll get a little bit more in depth in it. But I just want to hear, Nick, what do you have to say about this last Bedlam game? Just kind of go about it.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting, man. Man, I like Ollie Gordon, man. He's the truth. He's been, what's he got, like 1,100 yards already? I think he's rushed for over 150 yards in the last 5 or 6 games, something like that. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. In the last 3 games, he's rushed for 168, 282, 271. He's a beast. Once they got into conference play, I don't know what happened. It's like something clicked in the overdrive for him, and they got in the ball more, and he's just been outstanding. It's going to be difficult, I think, for OU to stop him. It's going to be a chess match, man. I'm kind of excited to see this matchup. After I watched Texas beat up on Kansas State, then 2:30 you guys come on, so I get to watch this.
We'll get to that game here in a second. I got some questions to say. I got some questions to ask. But Nick, here's the thing that I have to say about Ollie Gordon. Okay, I'm not going to take anything away from the kid for the season that he's having thus far. But fact of the matter is that this is still a Gundy coached team. We all know Casey Dunn has control of 60% of the offense, but we know when it gets into those tight games, those better games, we all know, kind of what's really going on. My problem is that we face Chuba Hubbard, who was supposed to run for all these yards on us. We face Justice Hill. We face all these different running backs. The Warren kid. We face all these different running backs who were supposed to run all over us and who were having just as good of a season as he was having. They got to show it. For me, if you want to let's just be real. I have a friend down there that I talk to. I won't say any names, different things like that. He got some really close ties. Let's just say that. One thing that I asked him was simply this, or 2 things that I asked him was, 1, do you really think that y'all run that 3-3-5 better than Iowa State that we put 50 on, or some of the other teams who have ran some of those similar concepts against us? And then lastly, y'all have to make it out of the first quarter alive instead of being down 28 points, 30 points. You can't do that. So, there's a lot of questions. Right now it's the perfect time. You feel like you're catching OU on a slide because of the last 2 games, which one was a win. Second one should have been a win, but it was a loss. However you want to spin it. But the fact of the matter is, we're still talking about a team that lost to South Alabama earlier in the year. And don't get me wrong, they've improved because they've settled in on the quarterback and they finally said, you know what, Ollie Gordon, we're going to give you the rock. But at the same time, I'm still sitting there saying the same damn thing. This is the team that lost to South Alabama and really, really struggled out the gates and have just now found some success against some of, honestly, the middle of the road teams in the Big 12. So, well, that's just my opinion.
Well, also, this is a team too that, that beat Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have kind of matured after that South Alabama loss. Now, mind you, next week they got beat by Iowa State, but they kind of found their groove, and I think they found their niche. We're getting Gordon the ball. I think the matchup here is going to be. I think OU's defensive line is going to be very physical against our offensive line. Like you said, they're going to get it out very quick. But I think they're going to do a lot of passing to actually set up the run or have some quick passing plays to be just extensions of the running game. Ollie Gordon is a big guy. He hasn't caught a lot of balls this year. I think he's caught 15 or 16 balls this year. So, I'm interested to see how they're going to use him in the passing game. But the matchup I want to see is, I think y'all's defensive line should dominate their line.
Mhm.
But if Danny Stutsman is playing, I want to see that matchup, him either taking down Ollie Gordon or Gordon giving him the business. I want to see, is he fully healthy, right?
Yeah.
And if he's not fully healthy, that could spell problems, because I don't care who's behind him. He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. And I know Hank is on here. Hank said Kip and Kobe together is the combination. I think that combination will work very well. I really liked what I saw from them in the spring game, because they ran Stutzman and Koenig, obviously, but they ran Kip and Kobe together. And I mean, hey, it's a hell of a punch. I think just more seasoning is all that those kids were needing, honestly, from last year, and coming a little bit to halfway into this year. But you're seeing Kip, and you know that he's decisive and all the rest of that. It's just the mental game that it takes to play linebacker for Venables.
Yeah, Stutzman has it.
That's where Stutzman is at. Yeah,
he's a linebacker through and through. That kid was born a linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some kids are born to be crazy. He's born to be crazy and be a linebacker. But one thing I do want to say too about OU on this side of the house is the last 3 games, OU has allowed a rusher to rush for at least 100 yards on them. Texas, Kansas, and I think before that, who was it? Was it UCF? Yeah. So they have allowed somebody to rush for 100 yards or more on them. Just one single person, not as a team. So just one single person. Ollie Gordon is a different beast. He's a different animal. And so
I think with Kansas, it was more of a combination of things. The game against y'all, we got caught. And here's something that we want to pay close attention to: is Gundy going to the plays that have hurt us the most is whenever they have that wide receiver, that inside wide receiver that is basically that extra blocker. That's just basically saying, screw it all, I'm coming for that extra block. And so we're getting caught up on that, especially when like PJ Adebawore is in the game, but at the same time, he's a freshman, right? Yeah. But the thing that you got to think about this too, Nick, it happened. I'm not denying what you said. That you're 1,000% correct. Fact of the matter is that before those chunk plays, we were holding them, right?
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that it was some chunk plays. It was some chunk plays that were in there that you're sitting there saying, okay, we just got to figure that out. But yeah. Chicken says Trace Ford on the radio said that Danny is playing. So I mean, I guess the question is just how healthy is he?
How healthy is he going to be?
Yeah, is he going to be able to go? But I mean, if we want to talk about our offense matching up against their defense, I would just say, hey, I think we match up very well. It just depends on 2 things. First off, what Jeff Levy do you get? Not Jet Levy. What Jeff Levy do you get? And then second thing, Nick, is simply this right here. Their 3-3-5 is a bit different.
Yeah.
Meaning that Iowa State is still very physical and wants to get after the ball, but they have no problem running that 3-3-5 and just playing back and just making you work. Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But OSU is, those safeties are creeping up an awful lot. Kendall Daniels is coming down there in that box an awful lot. So whenever they're trying to stop the run, you see those safeties helping an awful lot. It's not just, the linebackers or whatever the case may be. It's the safeties too. They're fitting gaps and they're coming down an awful lot. So 70 degrees, no rain, none of that in sight. Jeff Levy, throw the damn ball, please.
Now, so this is another thing with the 3-3-5, so they do kind of creep up their safeties now. OU's run game hasn't been that great this year. So do you think that OSU is going to creep down their safeties if they don't respect the run? Right. So if I'm OSU, I'm not going to creep my safeties down because I don't respect the run. And I'm going to make Dylan Gabriel beat me passing the ball. Right.
I think that these past 2 games, well, I say the 4th quarter of the UCF game going into and then last week as well, even in the loss, you started to see the run games come together. Question is Tyree Walker still healthy? And two, does anybody in OU Nation and does anybody on the staff really believe that Sawchuk is starting to kind of get that feel back for the game where we can see that Florida State performance that we've been screaming for this entire season? Like I said, Nick, I'll be honest.
Interesting.
I'll be honest with you. It's an interesting game on paper right now, simply because you're trying to figure out. One, has this OSU team really turned the page, and then two, can we get OU to snap back with that edge mentality that they had all the way, through the Texas game, coming off that bye week and all the rest of that stuff. Can we get them to snap back? I think that at this time, people are feeling like they're catching them at the right time, and I don't necessarily know. And I think the OU is going to be ready. I think they're going to be ready. And like I said, I'm eager to see.
And it's at OSU.
Yeah, it's at OSU.
Yeah,
it's at OSU. But
it's going to be good.
But I'm just saying, Nick, I'm telling you, I'm just saying this. I got to see them make it out of the first quarter, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but it's a matter of who's going to start off fast. You guys haven't started off the fastest, have you, lately?
I wouldn't.
You guys are more of a second half team, I would say. I mean, even against Iowa State, you guys, it was pretty close in the first quarter and a half, first 2 quarters, and y'all took off in the second half, right? Yeah. I mean, y'all just took off in the second half.
It was yeah. And you have to just watch the tape. It's self-explanatory why it took us so long to put that one away.
It's going to be interesting, man. At Oklahoma State, I don't think you better be ready to play in this game. The only reason I say this is because you guys look at Oklahoma State as your little brother, not like a rival. Mm-hmm. They look at you guys as a rival. Like, they want to win this game and send you guys to the SEC like we sent Texas A&M to the SEC. Like, we replayed that Justin Tucker kick, sending them back home scoreboard. That's what they want to do badly, right? And so they're going to be ready to play, and Gundy going to have some shit up his sleeves. It's just a matter of, this game's going to be like a boxing match. They're going to throw every haymaker and every punch they can in that first and a half quarters, right? And it's just a matter if OU is going to be able to take the punches, and when you do take the punches and absorb them, and then say, that's all you got, now let's run the offense, right? So it's going to be interesting. They're going to come to play. Because this might be the last time that they see you guys, because their teams are usually never that good to where they're going to be able to see you in the bowl game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this might be the last time that they see you guys for about 20, 30 years.
Keep Okie Light at 19 all-time wins. That's what Hank is saying. Nick, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to stay with my score that I told my friend who's close to the program down there, wink, wink, 42-17 OU. I think we get back on the right path this week, and I think we beat the hell out of OSU. We showed them exactly what they are. We wipe our ass with all their posters and everything and stuff like that, leave it in the locker room, and we keep going. All the way back up by 35. I think that's what we do. I think we go in there and I think we get to it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, Nick, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. We've look, outside of that questionable game, and it's been a couple of times that they won. Gundy is 3-15 against OU. Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
The fact of the matter is, the 2 games that he's won, one of them was definitely a fluke. Bob should have never re-kicked that to Tyreek Hill. That was stupid. And the second one with Lincoln, I mean, everything, all that we talked about after Lincoln left in that game. So
yeah, Lincoln was his mind was elsewhere.
So it just, I mean, look, all I got to say is this right here. Crazier things have happened in Stillwater, but I don't see it happening this week. I think that we shut down Ollie Gordon. If he does get 100 yards, I think he gets it off of 25, 30 carries like Chuba Hubbard and all the rest of those guys did. And this is not me being a hater or anything like that. Hey, I hope the kid is in the Doak Walker conversation and all the rest of that. But at the same time, I've seen Gundy. This is the same Gundy system with the same offensive coordinator. who has had Justice Hill, Jaylen Warren, and Chuba Hubbard and guys like that. And they've rushed for 100 yards on 35 carries. So I don't see what's going to change all of a sudden. So my thing is, like I said, they got to make it out of the first quarter, and they're going to have to keep drives alive. I think this deep look. The problem for me is that UCF, you come out there and you go 4 straight 3-and-outs. Kansas, you come out there, they're throwing everything at you from the get-go. You get a 3-and-out. You're not rewarding them. You should be up 20 points on UCF. You should be scoring touchdowns or getting field goals or at least moving the ball.
Yeah, you can't let them stay in the game with you.
You're not doing any of that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what Texas was doing too. And the first few games, same thing with us.
Yeah.
Wyoming and Rice. We just let everybody hang around with us. Almost like playing with your food, and that shit comes back to bite you, man. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be closer than 42-17. But I don't know. It's gonna be good, man. This is gonna be a really good game.
Yeah. You got OU winning or not?
I had to turn in my picks today, for Bleacher Report. I got Oklahoma State winning this one. Very, very close game.
Okay.
Very close game.
It's going to continue because we're going to go ahead and segue into our next topic. And I'm just going to tell you from off the jump. This is not anything piggybacking off of what you're saying. I think K-State is going to come in there and win. I think they're going to come down there to DKR, and I think they're going to get the win. My problem is simply this right here. I like Malik. I'm rooting for Malik. I don't want the narrative to be, we should have played Arch, this and that. And
no, nobody cares about it. No.
Yeah, I don't want it to be
show.
that. But some of the stuff that I saw in that game, I was like, I see why I should be excited, but I also see why I should be cautious.
Yeah. Which, honestly, what happened in the game last week was the best thing for Malik. All right. And I say that you got all the jitterbugs out your system. I would have been more afraid, to be honest with you, if Malik would have went out and threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and rushed for a touchdown or 2, because then all the mistakes he had with his footwork, throwing off his back foot, trusting his arm talent so much, because, he has a cannon. He has a cannon, and you can tell he relies on his arm a lot and not using the proper mechanics like stepping into the throw. So getting a win against BYU and still showing all your flaws, these are good teachable moments. I think Sark probably sat him down and said, remember what I told you about not throwing off your front foot and throwing off that back foot? You see what happened right there? Pick. You saw what happened right there?
One of those picks, I ain't gonna lie, one of those picks was pretty ugly. I was like, Malik, I was like, who was you seeing over there?
Yeah. He only had one pick, though. He had one pick. But that was the one where I think it was a communication between him and X. Just him not being the starter for the entire year. It's something had to be up. I don't know what. That was the crazy play. I was like, who is over there? Nobody was over there. But look here, man. Texas is done. Texas beat Kansas State with Casey Thompson, who I think Malik's better than. We beat him with Quinn last year, Quinn last year is not the Quinn of this year. Quinn last year was literally a glorified game manager. I mean, you saw towards the end of the season what we had to do. We literally had to. It was the Bijan Robinson and Rojo show last year after Game 6, after Game 7, right? They had to carry this team. I'm just gonna read some numbers off, man. 2020, 69-13, Bijan Robinson rushes for 172 yards. 2021, Rojo rushes for 179 yards. Last year, Bijan rushes for 209 yards. Texas is going to run the ball. I think this is one of those games where Sark's like, we're going to play physical. We're going to play nasty. And Jonathan Brooks, this is your Doak Walker moment. Run the ball.
Well, and here's my so shout out to so Coach said he has OSU and K-State winning. Okay, Coach. All right, Coach. You worry about the Louisvilles and those of the world. You know how to take a jab at you, Coach. Shout out to Coach for showing up. Y'all got to catch him and Jason on the Hall of Fame football.
Yeah, great show.
Yeah, for
Great
sure.
show. Yeah,
Love
man.
those two. So, yeah, Hank says that Murphy reminds me of Milton right now. Has a cannon for an arm, but questionable throws. And
It
I
was
mean,
his first
it's
start.
fair.
It's his
It's
first
fair.
start.
It's fair in his first
No,
start. It's
it's
still
his
fair.
first start.
It's
And
still
see,
fair.
this is
Still
what
fair.
I was listening to Inside Texas yesterday, and I think it was Ian Wells. No, not Ian Wells. It's Justin Wells. No, I think it was Eric Naleen. Or was it Ian Boyd? One of them, but anyways, they said that they compared Malik's first start to Quinn's first start last year, right? And he was like, let's be fair, this kid hasn't started the game since high school. It's 2 years ago. The last game he started, he either broke his ankle or broke his foot in the state championship game, wins the state championship up there in Cali. So he hasn't started in 2 years. You could tell the nerves were running through his system. He was amped up. He was hyped. And as the game went on, he had that crazy throw that was for a pick. But as the game went on, you saw him settle down. From like the third quarter on, he settled down a whole lot. No real questionable throws. The throws were on point. 2 touchdowns, like going down in that second half. But it was the first half. Yes, I will give you Hank. First half, he was jittery. First start in 2 years. First live hits he's taken in 2 years. He has that green jersey on in practice, so you can't touch him. It's the first time he's been touched by somebody that's 280 to 300 pounds in 2 years, probably ever, because he was playing in like a little lower level football up in Cali, so they didn't have guys that big. So, look, he looked good from the third quarter on. I think Sark's gonna call a game plan that's gonna, suit to his best abilities. But honestly, I think Sark's gonna run the hell at the ball. He's gonna run the hell at the ball.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. I respect Kleiman an awful lot.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. And if you guys are wanting to, when you're talking about physical, running the ball, all the rest of that stuff, I get it. I know how you feel about Brooks. We're not going to go there. You know how I felt for the longest. We're not going to go there. We're going to keep this respectable, okay? We're friends. We're friends. We're talking about this. But my problem with all of that, Nick, is simply this. I don't think y'all can run all over K-State. You know K-State is going to send stuff at y'all. Look, my thing is this right here is you can look at it now. Coach said he's worried about Clemson. People are saying we should be worried about O State. People are telling y'all should be worried about K-State. These teams all have something in common right now. It's not like they've been on a fast track for winning or doing anything great this season. Now they're basically trying to, hey, we feel like we're playing good ball or we're trying to be consistent. Well, outside of Clemson. But the fact of the matter is, Nick, is that Kleiman is going to have a hell of a game plan. And even though he's still running kind of a 2 quarterback system, I think it may work. And the problem, and here's the wild card. We could talk about Malik all we want to. Which Will Howard do we get? Are we going to get the Will Howard that's going to allow the star freshman to come in and take snaps and play and this and that and play in situations, I guess you could say. Yeah. But which Will Howard are we going to get? But they're going to have a game plan. They have a hell of a game plan, Nick. You got to respect that.
I don't think it matters. To be honest with you, Kansas State has played the highest ranked defense they played this year is the 79th ranked defense in the country. They ain't played nobody on the defensive side of the ball that can test them. And they ain't been blowing people out, right? So they're going to have to get the ball out quick, but they don't have the personnel to get the ball out quick. There's no Deuce Vaughn coming back through that door right now. You know what I'm saying? Will Howard, yeah, he needs to step up. But even with Avery Johnson coming in, he can't pass the ball. When he comes in, we know what he's going to do. Right. And so Texas limits the run. I think I think that Texas defensive line is going to handle that K-State line. I just do. They haven't faced a defense as good as ours at all. And I think that they're going to be in a world of trouble in this game because I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball running the ball. And they're going to have to win by passing the ball. And I don't trust Will Howard passing the ball.
Soon as Cowboys bring up an interesting point, it's crazy how these parallels between our conversation about OU and OSU, with you saying that well, OSU beat Kansas. Well, they said K-State went out there and curb stomp, Houston.
I said, well, OSU beat Kansas because y'all lost to Kansas. We still beat Houston.
Y'all should. Hey, look, y'all should have lost to Houston.
We still beat Houston.
Y'all should have lost to Houston.
How?
The refs gave y'all a hell of a spot on that last
okay. If they get the spot, all they do is score a touchdown, and it ties the game up.
Nick, that was the first down. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was the first down. They should have had 4 plays instead of 1.
Guess what? We haven't had a holding call called on any one of our guys that are defensive guys coming in. We haven't been called for a holding on the opposing offense the entire season.
Let's keep this in mind because you've been saying that an awful lot. Nick, okay.
We haven't.
We lost to Kansas. I'll say this. But who is y'all one lost to? Shut the hell up.
It's y'all.
It's y'all. Bull crap. You trying to feed it to the narrative. You worse than Nash.
No.
You worse than Nash.
I gave you guys your respect. I did. I gave you guys your respect.
You worse than Nash.
I gave you guys your respect. However, I understand they beat Houston. That's great.
I'm just
That's great.
Saying.
That's great.
Saying. I'm saying
but we beat Houston too, Sooner Cowboy. Null and void point, my brother.
Hey, so soon the Cowboy, talk yourself, man. But no, I mean, I just feel like Kleiman's going to come out there with a really good game plan. I don't think that they're on that Kansas of last year where y'all just go up there and just basically just run the ball, barely see a pass. If you do see a pass, it's because it's situational. I'm just saying, man. All eyes are going to be on Texas at 11 a.m. I'm going to definitely be watching that game as I'm tuning.
It's going to be interesting. I just think our defense is very stout. I mean, for Murphy to have his first start, last game, he didn't play that well in the first half. Texas limited BYU to 6 points. Look, man, I was pretty happy with the defensive performance, and also we're playing Kansas State at home, right? So our defense is going to be juiced up. They're going to be ready. I think Sark's going to call a really good game plan here for Murphy. We're going to run the ball like crazy, right? I mean, it just is what it is. And he's going to call plays that are going to utilize Malik's strengths and utilize this team's strengths. If he can get the ball deep down the field on fades, do some good screens, where it is to Worthy, where it is to Brooks, where it is to CJ Baxter, but fades to Worthy, also fades to Mitchell, catch Sanders down the seam. Look, I think we got the recipe to win this game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout or anything, but it's definitely going to be a closer game. But I trust our defense is going to I'm not going to say halt Kansas State all the way, but look. The highest defense that they played this year is the 79th ranked defense in the country. All right. So look, hey, whose offense is more explosive? You guys or Kansas State's?
I would say ours.
Okay. All right. Do you see Kansas State putting up points on us like you guys did?
I don't know. Look, Student Cowboys said they scored.
Man, we talking about TCU who's 4-4 with a dog fight now with 3-5 Texas Tech, and we're talking about University of Houston was a G5 team last year. I'm just being real. Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it honest.
Nick,
right?
If they G5 team, they was over there running Madden schemes against y'all with all them damn crossers. I was like, my God.
It is what it is. We were 21-0, and Sark went crazy going for fake field goals. I have no idea why. Look, that's one of those games you're up, take the points, put your foot in the throat, and keep it moving.
Hey,
man.
I
That's
blame
it.
Steven because Steven after the OU game, Steven wanted more aggressiveness, and I was like, you got.
You know what's funny though? When all that happened, I remember texting Steven and Texas Homer and Nash and him in the group chat, and I was like, when Sark needed to be aggressive, he wasn't against OU. And now I just think he's being aggressive just to say he's being aggressive because he got dogged out, right? So, pick your poison, man. You gotta pick your spots. That was not the opportunity to do that when you're up 21 points. But yeah, look, I think Texas wins the game against Kansas State.
Let's go to the comments real quick. So Mars Gems had Texas 38, K-State 30. soon as Cowboys said it, y'all have won the last 6 matchups. He said K-State is due for a win. Well, okay. And then let's see. K-State is due for a win. BYU is not that good this year. Let's see. Said be that. Oh, Stephen G said, I don't see K-State, how K-State keeps up with Texas. We will see. But I think that Kleiman is going to have a hell of a game plan. If y'all, I mean, if they listen to you, if I can finish,
go ahead.
If they listen to your game plan about running the ball and physical and all the rest of this stuff, that's K-State all day. They would love that. Y'all not gonna go out there and throw the ball like that and try to sling it down the field. Okay, cool. We'll play y'all just how y'all want to play. That's K-State. That's K-State. That's their MO right there.
So this is my only thing about that, Chris. Mm-hmm. If Kleiman's gonna have such a game plan this year, what happened to the game plan last year when he had better players? What happened to the game plan the year before that when he had better players, and the year before that when he had better players? Like, okay, so look, I get he gonna have a hell of a game plan. You were at home last year and you got your ass beat. You know what I'm saying?
But Nick,
and you had Deuce Vaughn.
But Nick,
you had an All-American at running back.
But now you see what the same things you're saying is the same things that I was just saying about O State. But you sitting here not believing me and trying to you're a Texas fan, so I get it. It's only natural. But we will see. We will see.
My reason for the Oklahoma State game is they look at this as a rival, and y'all don't. This shit means something to them. It doesn't mean nothing to y'all. Y'all don't care about Oklahoma State. It really means something to them. There is a heated hatred for Oklahoma State to you guys because they feel like they are the little brother in the state and they got to go beat the big brother.
Stepbrother. Right? That red-headed stepbrother that you just like, where you come from?
Yeah. So that's why I say that with Oklahoma State, because I think they're really going to want this. And I don't know if you guys are going to be like,
so you don't think K-State is going to want this either?
It's not the same. You understand? This is like,
I get what you're saying.
This is like us in Texas A&M and OU.
Yeah.
Like for them, OU is their rival. For you, Texas is your rival, right?
Look. Stephen G says Texas 45. Brooks goes off. K-State. He thought you might like that. Stephen G just trying to be polite since you came.
I think Brooks goes off, but I don't know about 45 points.
Chicken
says hasn't scored 40. Nick. Hey, look, Texas has scored 41 points one time this year. We haven't gotten over 41 points, but we haven't gotten over 40 points for one time this year. At 41 points. I don't see them scoring 45. I see them playing great defense. I see this game, I'm gonna say in the mid 30s, because that's kind of where Sark's comfort zone is his mid 30s. Once he gets 30, he's like, I can just let the defense hound on him instead of going to kill folks. So Nick, I see like a mid 30s game.
Nick, Stephen G says, he also says, see, Nino, you're wrong. It is just a time for big brother to put little brother in their place.
Possibly.
See, one of the things that you don't understand, and it's fine because you're not from Oklahoma, so you don't understand. All year you have to listen to OSU fans think that, oh my gosh, OU thinks they're better than everybody, and this and they're that and they're that and they're this. And then when you start talking about football, their commonplace argument is, hey, we have just as many national championships in all other sports. And we're like, well, we're talking about football. We're not talking about wrestling. We're not. I mean, if y'all want to talk about softball, we could talk about that too. But I mean, if y'all want to talk about tennis and wrestling and chess and stuff like that, that's fine too. But we have to hear that. So it's just kind of like, it's not a rivalry. I mean, it's not like this is Montana versus Montana State, where the rivalry is probably like 35 to like 75 to 70. You know what I'm saying? It's 19 to 84 in like 3. Like, what are we talking about? You know? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not necessarily that, they look at this every year and they put out these promos and put out all this stuff. And every year it's the same damn thing. Well, OU hasn't been playing good. We feel like it's this year. And then they get punched in their mouth and somebody screams and says, sit the hell down. There's 3 chairs over there to your right. Pick one. Sit the hell down.
It's gonna, this is my only thing. What Levy is going to show up for you guys? Now, I think that's going to decide the game right there. What Levy's going to show up for this team?
I said that, Nick. I said that. I just said that. I said
what Levy is going to show up?
We get Jeff Levy.
That's it. Is he going to be the masterful Levy that like outcoached Sark in the shootout?
Yeah.
Or is he going to be the Levy that we saw the last couple weeks? I'm just being honest. He looks so good sometimes. You're like, damn, Levy, you in your bag today. You like in your bag right now. And then sometimes it's just like, what's wrong, dog? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And this is from a college football fan. You know me. I watch college football.
I don't know. But all right, so I got OU, you got O State, you got Texas, I got K-State. I guess we'll have a laugh the next time around.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. 40 minutes into this show, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears and just kind of bump this out real quick. If you would be considerate, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, do that same thing for Nino's Corner as well. Both channels thriving, doing their thing. Shout out to my guy Jason down here. Hit that like button, folks. Definitely for sure. So, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and speed through this real quick. But Nick, let's talk about any teams in the Big 12 right now that you see outside of OU and Texas that could make the Big 12 championship.
I got to go for you, Kansas. If Kansas gets past Iowa State this weekend, then they will beat Texas Tech because, sorry, Joe McGuire, the road to the Big 12 doesn't run through Lubbock. I like Kansas's chances against Kansas State. I just think they match up better for them. And then they will beat Cincinnati. I think Kansas really, if Kansas gets past Iowa State this weekend, which is a big if, because Iowa State's going to be pretty tough this weekend, but I got Kansas winning that game. If they get past Iowa State, they got a potential to run the table here and finish the season 10-2, and I think they have an opportunity to go play in the Big 12, the championship game.
All right. I would say probably Iowa State or K-State, in my earnest opinion. Hank says Iowa State will. Sooners Cowboy says Iowa State, K-State, or OSU. It's all plausible. I mean, it's all possible too. So
it's so up in the air right now.
How many games would OU or Texas have to win to go ahead and clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game? Would it be 9 or would it be 10?
I think both teams got to win out, don't they? I think both teams have to win out to get there because both of us have one loss in conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough. So us, you guys, Kansas has one loss in conference, right?
Mm-hmm. No, Kansas had.
Hold on, let me pull up the Big 12 schedule.
I could have sworn that Kansas had 2 losses in the Big 12.
But they got. Let me check.
Because they lost to OSU and then they lost to somebody else as well, I believe.
Here you go, standings. Let me check the standings right quick. I just, stuff's going to shake out here pretty soon. There's going to be some losses this weekend that we're not expecting. So here you go. OU in conference is 4-1. Iowa State's 4-1. Oklahoma State 4-1. Yeah, so Kansas is 3-2. Kansas is 3-2. We got a 5-place tie: Kansas State, Texas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Oklahoma. I just don't see Kansas State. I see Kansas State getting beat this weekend by Texas, and I think head to head, I think Kansas will beat Kansas State. I think Kansas has this opportunity to win out. To be honest with you.
Sooner Cowboy says OU just needs one more win if Kansas loses to Iowa State.
Yeah.
So basically, you beat OSU this weekend. If Kansas loses to Iowa State, then you go come back home, beat the hell out of West Virginia, and then you basically have secured a spot.
You know what? Look, I trust him. I'm just gonna say it just went out.
Just went out. Yeah, I mean, hey, that hey, you know what? Guys, that's a perfect segue into the last segment of this show, which is the college football playoff rankings. So we're not going to spend all day talking about all the other teams. Let's just go ahead and get right to it. So obviously Kansas, O State, was K-State in there?
Yeah, 23, I think.
Yeah, so you got those guys who kind of rounded out the top 25. But let's talk about the 2 that really matter right now, at least for this show's purposes. Texas at 7, OU at 9. I'm going to just go out and say, I know I'm not going to speak for all of Sooner Nation, but I'm going to say this right here. I don't really care that y'all are ranked ahead of us. I'm more, my focus was on the fact that, hey, we didn't slide like I thought we were. Right. So, I saw a tweet by you, and I know you said it on a couple of your videos. Hey, look, it's all in front of us, y'all. All we got to do is win. We win out, win the Big 12 championship. It's going to be hard to keep a big. I don't care who else is out there looking good. Ohio State can lose to Michigan and say, "Hey, Michigan can lose to Ohio State or vice versa." And say, yeah, well, we didn't win our Big Ten championship, but look who we lost to compared to who they lost to. And you're sitting there saying, no, we're a conference champion. That outweighs any quality loss that you have compared to ours, right? Yep. So, to me, I think that's pretty much what you got to do. You got to win out if you're OU. You got to win out if you're Texas.
Yeah, that's it, man. Look, I'm going to tell you what's got me is Washington at 5, Oregon at 6. They got to play each other. Is it this week or next week? It's next week, right? Yeah. Washington plays Oregon next week.
No, you mean
no. I'm sorry. No,
USC
Washington played Oregon already. USC plays Washington this week. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Oregon got beat by Washington. That's when Dan Lanning was calling all the stupid plays and going for points that he didn't need yet. So Washington has to play USC. Man, USC has no defense, but Washington does not look good. They have not looked good these last 2 games. And I'm going to tell you something. They're going to get beat. I don't know about this week, but they're going to get beat sometime in this season. Florida State's going to win out. I think they got the easiest path to make it to the playoffs. They're going to win out. The ACC is weak, and they're going to win out. It is what it is. And out of the top 4 teams, I think they have the best win out of the top 4 teams, beating LSU. I like LSU better than I like Penn State, because, I don't like Penn State at all. I just don't. Georgia hasn't really played anybody, to be honest with you. Georgia has a cakewalk into the SEC championship game. And the scary team for me is Alabama. Alabama gets past LSU this week. They're going to win out, and they're going to go to the SEC championship game. And it's one game, Georgia versus Alabama. Now, you get Alabama, if they win out, man, and they go to the SEC championship game, Alabama's been battle tested all year. They have taken their hits. They have gotten better every week. And Georgia has been kind of in cruise control. And it's hard to turn that switch on and off, right? It's just hard to do it. They do it masterfully. I will give them credit. They do it outstanding. But if Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC championship game, Alabama has a shot to – I think they got a shot to be the SEC champs this year. I do. And if they end up being the SEC champs, they're going to be in the playoffs. They have 1 loss. And to be honest with you, their 1 loss, I'm not going to say, because it's my team, but out of the teams, in their top 10, they have the best loss. They just do. They have the more favorable loss. It's ranked to a team that's the number 7 team in the country. If Texas, keeps winning out, even if Texas loses a game, they'll be a top 10 team still. You're looking at them having a loss to a top 10 team and winning the SEC championship, and they're going to be in the playoffs. The key is now, what do they do with a team like Georgia if Georgia loses?
It's hard to keep Georgia out as well. It'd be that SEC bias for sure.
But the only thing though, Chris, is this is it. Georgia coming in at number 2 in the playoff rankings, which I was shocked by.
Everybody was shocked. Yeah. I couldn't believe Ohio State was at 1.
They're just giving Kirby Smart ammunition to go and kick everybody's ass now.
Yeah.
They're just giving him ammunition, right? He already tries to get his team up because he wants to make them feel like the underdog. But how do you make a team that's won 2 championships like the underdog? The college football playoffs puts them at number 2 instead of number 1. That's how you do it.
Don't poke the bear.
And Ohio State's wins aren't that impressive to me. They don't look good winning. They just don't. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting, dude. But I think Michigan gonna beat the crap out of Ohio State.
They should. Hell, they have the plays. Coach says Alabama beats LSU this weekend.
I think so too. Coach.
Stephen G kind of went off your point. He says the main thing the Texas win over Alabama allows is if either of Texas OU gets in a tiebreaker with Bama, Georgia, we get advanced. So
thank you to Texas. Oh yeah, because we beat Alabama, then you guys beat us, and yeah, I get it. But it's gonna be interesting, man. Look, things are going to shake up there at the top. Ohio State has to play Michigan. That's going to happen. Georgia's going to have to play the SEC championship game. If Bama keeps rolling the way that they are, they're going to play in the SEC championship game. Georgia's going to have to play Alabama. Mm-hmm. And look, Washington still has to play USC, and they still got to play, who else? They got USC, and I think UCLA too is right. Give me a second. Let me check the Washington schedule right quick. But they got USC up this weekend, and that's not going to be a gimme game, folks. That's not going to be a gimme game. USC can come in there and beat Washington. They can beat Washington, and it's at USC. They got to play Utah also. Washington does. Utah's defense. We know what they could do on defense. Then they got to go play Oregon State, who's balling out of control right now. Mm-hmm. DJ's playing his ass off. And then they finish up with Washington State, who's kind of taking the dive. But they got 3 tough games in a row. USC, Utah,
they have some tough games.
They're going to lose one of them, man. Yeah. And they're going to slide. They're going to lose one of them. The thing is, Oregon, man. Oregon. What does Oregon do? Because, look, man, they only lost to Washington over some dumb stuff because Landon's an idiot coaching. They got Cal. They're going to kill Cal. They got USC, which is going to be a good game. They're going to beat the crap out of Arizona State. And then they finish up with Oregon State. And I think they should beat Oregon State.
I don't know if the USC game is a good game. I could see them kind of going up and down with all the rest of the teams, with Dillingham or whatever out there at Arizona State. I mean, he knows the tactics. He doesn't have the talent to compete with Oregon, but he's somebody who can schematically he could get a good scheme going at least. USC scares me simply because I think that's another game where you could see what happened to Coach Prime could happen to Lincoln, because if you really want to be real about it with Oregon, Dan Lanning was sending shots at Lincoln from the very first one of the very first pressers that he did there. Dillingham, all of them, they sent shots at Lincoln.
Yeah, but look, I don't care what they do. I don't care what
they're trying to at least put 100 on the board against
I don't care what but they got this little dude who's a Heisman Trophy winner last year, gonna be probably number 1 pick of the draft this year, who gonna come in and do some things, man. Look, as much I know Oklahoma fans can't stand Caleb Williams and Lincoln. I get it.
No. We hate that they took a Heisman from us, but nobody on the OU side has ever doubted the kid's talent. It's just funny the mediocrity that's happening right now simply because of Riley. But outside of that,
if Caleb's not in that team, he's transcendent.
As you would say, let's take a drink on that one. He's transcendent.
He's a transcendent quarterback. Hey, if Caleb Williams is not on that team, they're a 3-win team right now. Yeah, they have 3 wins right now if Caleb's not on the team. That's what I mean by transcendent, fellas. Can the guy put the team on his back and go win some games by himself? And that's what he's doing. He has no help. Lord have mercy. He has no line, no defense. He just out there playing Superman. You know what I mean? And so, which is probably why his throwing mechanics and stuff are off, because he's playing sandlot ball. Lincoln ain't coaching him. That's just my opinion. I'm not in the practices, but we see. I don't think he's being developed to his fullest potential. A la, now that we take a look at it, let's look at guys like Kyler. Was Kyler really developed to his full potential? You guys think so? We're seeing him in the league now.
I'm not even gonna go there with you because you be hating on Kyler.
No,
Kyler ain't did nothing. Man.
No, I love Kyler. No. Let me tell you something, Sooner fans. And I told you this before, Chris. When Baker Mayfield was on TV and Kyler Murray's on TV, they were must-see TV. I don't care that they were, Oklahoma dudes. I was waiting to see Baker play. I like to watch Baker play. I love good football. He was one of the best to do it in college football. So was Kyler. And being a Texas guy, seeing Kyler come through the high school ranks, he's the greatest high school quarterback in the state of Texas. History of the state of Texas. 60, not 60. How many games? 30 something and old. I mean, he didn't lose a game since middle school. Right. And so, yeah, man, I like good football. So what I'm talking about, this is not a knock on Kyler. This is not on Lincoln.
Yeah.
This is not on Lincoln. I'm looking at Lincoln has done a great job of getting these guys prepared and getting them ready to be the first, like round draft pick, top pick of the draft, and Baker and Kyler, and now Caleb. But how much development is Lincoln actually doing? Because
see the thing about it is you'll like this because you're a big scheme, big time film logistics type of guy. I always like to jab you with that, but you'll like this. So there are videos on YouTube all the time that pop up all the time for me where it really kind of lays out that Lincoln Riley offense, right?
Yeah.
What Lincoln was able to do, see the problem, one of the problems is this right here. My uncle brought this up. I'm gonna bring this up first. I think one of the problems may be Dennis Simmons, honestly, because those wide receivers, hey, don't get me wrong, CD, Hollywood,
he has some receivers now.
But same thing you're saying about Kyler and Baker, same thing you could say, especially about Hollywood, is like they are what they are. You never really saw any true development from them with Simmons. Now, my point with Riley is simply this right here. If you watch the YouTube videos, it's sick what he's able to do on the simplest of plays. He's running stick.
Yeah.
He's running little hitch routes, different things like that. And those guys are just dudes and are just turning around. And I hate to bring it up, but you saw what CD did his last game against Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. You like, what the hell? It's four people
stop, man. Stop. Damn.
But
that's just natural talent. That's just natural talent, man.
But the thing is that the concepts are very simple if you understand the stick play. But also on top of that, if you see what he's actually asking the quarterback to do, that offense is basically saying, hey, defense, your safeties better be able to make the best decision in a split second because we're going to put stress on them. We're running it looks like we're running two twin routes, but you don't know who's breaking off to do what. And underneath that, if you run with that, I'm running Norris right up the middle as a dagger play. Yeah. I'm running him as a drag and then turn it into a dagger. So it's easy. It's simple concepts. You know where the guys are going to be. It's easy reads. But the thing is that Lincoln is trying to put stress on those safeties. He's going to isolate a safety and tell him, you're going to have to figure out who you want to take. Is your cornerback, is he going to, if y'all running man, y'all running zone, is he going to sit there and match up with this guy who's running his twin route, but is doing a corner route, to be honest with you, and who's taking the other guy who's running either a slant or is running an orbit route basically off of that. And so that puts stress on that safety. And that's all that Lincoln is really trying to do. So, I mean, it makes sense what you're saying about calling them. Now, it's more in depth than that, if you guys really want to be honest. It's more in depth than that, but I'm just kind of giving you one basic concept of why you haven't really seen them kind of mature that much. I mean, not mature, but, have as much success as you would like.
So listen here, though. So we're seeing the best ball from a previous Lincoln Riley guy and Spencer Rattler. We're seeing the best ball when he's losing right now, down in South Carolina, but he looks like a much better quarterback, right? And it seems like from a mechanic standpoint, Spencer's getting developed, even though his team sucks.
Yeah. His team sucks. It's what they're asking for. Yeah.
So it's just interesting. I just had that thought a couple of weeks ago about Lincoln Riley, right? I just had that thought, like, is his system just so good? And of course, he has guys like Baker, who's a hell of a quarterback in college, and then you have Kyler, who I thought the world of coming out of high school. And then look, I don't want to skip over Jalen Hurts either, but he had Hurts for a year. Right. Hurts did 3 years at Bama. He got some development over there from Lane Kiffin, and then comes to Lincoln for a year. Right. So the whole Jalen Hurts thing, that even brings into question. Jalen wasn't the best quarterback his first year up in Philly either. You can tell Jalen's been working. He's just he's a different breed.
They've been working, but one of the things, and this is what I do applaud the Cardinals for. This is what I do applaud the Eagles for, is that and I always talk about Ron Rivera, speak very highly of him. Ron Rivera is an old school coach. If you would have had it, if you left it up to him, they would have never ran that RPO style offense there with Cam Newton. But they tailored it to Cam Newton because they knew that was what would get them the most success and what would bring him the most success. And that's what the Cardinals did. That's what the Eagles have done. They've brought systems in there that are friendly to these quarterbacks so they could have success off the rip. So you can't really blame any of those NFL teams for what they did, because they were trying to fast track the success. I'll say this right here. I bet you that would probably work for Justin Fields right now. Some of these
some help.
It's not, some of these quarterbacks, it's not necessarily that they can't grasp the NFL game. It's the fact that the NFL is still old and will not cater to their quarterbacks, these cornerstones, and make them and run what they've been running this entire time.
That's why I respect a team like Baltimore.
Baltimore is another good example.
What they did with Lamar, you know, like they still have pro tendencies and pro principles, but they let Lamar do Lamar, and they just built a system around him, putting the 2 and triple tight end sets, and now they're finally getting wide receivers for Odell Beckham Jr. And then they got, Zay over there in the team too as well. I mean, they built that team very good, and you can see them starting to mature the whole game around them too, right? Like Lamar can pass the damn ball. People love to hate on him saying that he can't pass. Do you know he's like the second highest completion percentage guy in the NFL right now? Like people don't want to realize that he's really a good passer. I mean, but they just see the flash and think that's all he is. But yeah, man. So like Baltimore does it well. You're saying Philly doing it. Jacksonville's doing it now. Jacksonville, with Sunshine down there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Sunshine.
It's smart. I don't know why more NFL teams don't do it, instead of trying to force them into this box of let's go be
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Stale milk.
Let's go force them in this box to be Tom Brady, to be Brett Favre, to be Phillip Rivers, and all the rest of that. And you're sitting there saying that some of these guys are just not that. They can be legendary in their own right, but you're trying to force them into this box. And you're like, look, it took Drew Brees a second chance, a second breath at life to get to where he was at. It took Aaron Rodgers sitting 3 or 4 years to get to where he's at, unless you are getting these guys and you're going to sit them behind these cornerstone quarterbacks that you already have,
it's going to be interesting. Oh, hey man, so one thing prior to us getting out of here, have you ever seen a runner-up for the championship in college football just plummet so bad so quick? TCU is down 20-7 against Texas Tech. 3-5 Texas Tech.
Oh, I gotta get out of here so I can go see this. This is I just don't know, man. TCU is just, hey, look,
they had a magical season last year. It was magical. They had a lot of one-score games last year. A lot of one-score games, man.
Not only that, but when you have 20, you basically you were BYU before BYU got to the Big 12. The 36-year-olds out there playing football.
Everybody was a 6-year senior.
Yeah, everybody's a 6-year senior.
And they had the COVID year too. They had the COVID extra year too. They were really 6-year seniors.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But hey folks, look. We had some laughs tonight. Let's just be honest. If OU was a movie, this guy right here next to me would be, the worst critic on Rotten Tomatoes. He would give that movie 20% basically, and that's just him being courteous. That's just filling out that's just actually filling out the name of the movie for OU, honestly. So we know what Nick is doing. We know what time he's on. The dude's a savage, low key. The fact that he picked Oklahoma State is disrespectful, but at the same time, I respect it.
I picked Kansas State.
I will see you next week on the SEC Connect. If you're not following that, go ahead and follow that. Like, subscribe, do all that to that channel. But I will see you, and I cannot wait to laugh at you and Steven. Steven's gonna be all mad, and then you're gonna be sitting down. I don't know. I mean, like, I try to tell you, don't mess with quiet.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. But go ahead, man. Tell everybody where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, man. YouTube's gonna be Nino's Corner Sports, and on Twitter, man, it's just Nino's Corner. So also podcast platforms, where there's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Breaker, Spotify. Just search for my private channel, Nino's Corner Sports, and have the same thing that's on YouTube.
Hey, man, Chicken said Nino has on a Sooner Speedo, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
what?
Nick.
What?
Nick, let's stop the beef. Let's stop all of that. And if we can, hey, look, I'm gonna say Boomer, you're gonna say Sooner.
Hell
right?
to the no.
Okay.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
We're gonna say, hey, look, I'm gonna say Boomer.
Hook 'em.
Okay. All right, folks, that's been another episode of the Horns Down Podcast. Holla at you.
You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts,